Morning! Very bright outside. Can't turn the ISO down anymore. I do apologise. It's Monday morning. Monday motivation. I thought we'd start a vlog. I don't know who's going to get posted today, tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I don't know. I've still got stuff I need to finish, so I apologise. But we're doing a vlog today. Project Big Six or Big Picture, the European Super League. What an absolute fucking farce. One of my pals, a very good Liverpool fan, will get his views on what he thinks about it. And then I thought a group of us play football on a Monday night, 8-a-side, very competitive. But you know, we're not. We've all got dad bods, so it's not the most technically gifted group. Well, no, technically gifted is okay. Fit, we're not the most fit. So yeah, I thought I'd get that on the vlog tonight. It should be interesting. I've lost 2 weeks on the bounce, not happy about it. So yeah, we've got to change that shit. But yeah, I'm just on my way into the office. We'll have a chat with Sean, who's a Liverpool fan. Go from there, do a little bits and bobs throughout the day, and then play football tonight. See you soon, boys. Yeah, so we're back with the vlog. Like I said, we'll be doing the M&F Monday Night Football vlog later. Probably the best player from M&F, Mr. Sean Mason.
You sit on a throne of lies.
But no, he's a very good friend of mine who is a massive Liverpool fan.
Handball, Salah goes again, Salah still, Mohamed Salah! That's an amazing goal!
Well, I would say as a lifelong Liverpool fan, some would say otherwise, but we'll leave that at that. But no, in all seriousness, mate, like this Project Big Six or whatever it is, like shambles.
Nothing short.
Like,
Nothing short.
So I've been on Twitter this morning and seen that everyone's like obviously booting off about it, and rightly so. And what's your take on it? Immediately, mate?
Yeah, no, I've probably used the word disgrace more than anything, but the more I think about it, it's more upsetting than anything. I think, as just a general football person, they're ripping the soul from football. Like they go through with this. For me, football, the Premier League is finished. Yeah. You spent 20 years building the best league in the world of football, the most attractive league of football, where everybody, whoever's anybody in football, as a player, everybody would say, I want to play in football like Premier League.
Like, why do you think that is? Because obviously, like, we've got the Big Six. So realistically, like, you know, there's yourselves, Man City. I'm trying to think. Out of no one's had any massive success out of the rest of the six for like the last 10 years, have they? Really? It's only been yourselves and Man City.
Yeah.
But like obviously players want to come and play in this league to be able to get to play for those teams. But other than that, like, what is it about the Premier League, do you think, that makes it the most like entertaining league?
I think the fans.
Yeah.
Is a massive pull for any player. I think the cities that they're all in as well. I think England as a country is somewhere that people want to be, especially London for example. Obviously, money does talk as well. That we have got owners of football clubs that are billionaires. That always helps, I think. But I think it's the fact that every single game in the Premier League is a struggle. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, even going to Sheffield United, yes, they're relegated, and an easy task. Do you know what I mean? Going away there, playing and getting 3 points, every single game is massive in this Premier League.
Do you think that coronavirus has made that like even more true? Like the way, like we tried to record this before, we didn't get all of it, so we are re-recording it. But you mentioned before that Liverpool, for example, you've lost 2 of your big players. And then you've got beat off the likes of Villa, who've had a good season, but they've put 7 past you. And I'm not taking the piss, but you're not the side this season that you were last season. And you were talking about the fact that you've lost these players and you're struggling with the schedule already. Like, how the hell are you supposed to like carry on with what the schedule would be?
I know, adding another 22 games in is not. We'd need another 10, 11 players minimum. Yeah. To get through and be competitive in every single league. Anyway, it's because. You know what's going to happen. If they pump all that money in, they're going to surely from a business perspective, this JP Morgan, whoever it is that's sponsoring or in control of this new league, are going to want it to be as competitive as possible.
Yeah.
And to be competitive in that and the Premier League, the Premier League's the toughest league in the world as it is.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So how are you going to be able to compete in both?
So like, what like when we spoke about it off camera, and like I'm thinking about it now, like because we've spoken about the NFL, the way that is fair. Like everyone's got a cap space. Like if you can't afford your big players anymore, then unfortunately it is what it is. You lose them and then you rebuild.
Yeah,
like that's how it is. Same with basketball to a certain extent. I think I don't follow it enough to say whether it is, but I think it is. And obviously we spoke about MLS, where I completely forgot that there's a draft system in that. For example, like if the Premier League was going to change and to make it more competitive, I'd be all for like this kind of draft system and stuff. But to me, like it seems that they're pulling away from that, and this is what they're going to try and create, like away from the Premier League, like giving everyone £3 billion each. Like £3 billion. No, I read yesterday that it was $3 billion for the founding teams, like across the board, but in actual fact, apparently it's $3 billion per team. So there's 15 founding teams. That's $55 billion. Like, what the fuck is going on?
I'm sorry, we seem to be having some technical difficulties. In other news, my apologies.
Yeah, but that seems like maybe that's some sort of like £3 billion salary cap for like 3 years or something like that. I don't know, but it's just like you're going to get to a point where I feel, and I think you feel as well, that the Premier League might bend over and accept this, probably in terms of cash, but then you're going to have the big six who've got far more money to spend on players again, and it just completely ruins the rest of the teams.
Yeah, because it's then even more of a disadvantage to the others, because you're giving us £3 billion to then put into the squad. How is it fair on anybody else, knowing that we've now got £3 billion in the bank to go and splash on whoever we want?
Absolutely.
On top of what we've already got money-wise anyway, because we're already financially stable and okay. Because we've just had 500 and something mil pumped in.
Look, but obviously speaking off camera, and you mentioned about because I'd said, in all seriousness, if I wasn't part of Newcastle Fans TV, I'm starting to lose interest in football in general, not just Newcastle. You know, obviously I love Newcastle, and Sean said, you said like, because I've started to get into so many different sports. Obviously been into NFL for a few years now, like you have. Been lucky enough to see my team come out of nowhere and do bits and win the Super Bowl. But like after this season, like they will go back to probably not being very competitive. Like that's just how it works. But and getting into basketball and I want to start getting into the MLS as well, because I just want things. I want to be following things that are competitive, like and on a fair level. But you were saying like yourself, like there's just something about your team when you watch your team, like you get that feeling. There's no other feeling like it, and I agree 100%. Like I still get that feeling when I watch Newcastle, but you know this will take it away from me. Like I think this will be like the straw that breaks the camel's back, and I'll just be like I'm not fucking interested. So like as a fan who's actually involved in it, like how are you feeling about it all?
Disappointed, because how are we supposed to get attached to going away to Inter Milan every other week?
Yeah.
Every season. Do you know what I mean? It hasn't got the same feel as going away in the same country where it's a road trip for fans.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've been to away days ourselves. You get on the train, you have a few, well, you don't have to drink, but obviously you have a few cans and you make a day of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? There's nothing that you can do with going away to like these European countries every week.
Yeah.
It's not affordable really for the average person.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
you're right.
Those that are fortunate will have a whale of a time
Yeah.
if they want it. But I even think for them, even it'll be it's a bit too much to ask.
100%. Like the word. Let's be honest. The majority of the clubs, if not all the clubs, are based on working class fans, aren't they? We're all working class. Obviously, you've got your people that have got money. I'm not segregating them at all, but it's the lifeblood of the clubs that are the fans, and it's the working class fans. Like you've just said there. Like, so fucking sandwich vans here. You've got let's say Liverpool have got fucking Man United on Saturday. Short trip, short enough trip, a few hours or whatever. But then on Tuesday, you know, you can go out, get pissed on the Saturday, whatever, like you're fine, back in work on the Monday. Then Tuesday night, you're jetting off to Milan to watch Liverpool v Inter Milan. Like you said, you're not really going to enjoy the experience. Like, you can be there and be out on the piss to a certain extent, but then you got to be coming back the next day, because if you're not, you're basically taking the rest of the week off, like work. It's not. What demographic are you putting this towards? It's just like just getting rid of fans, and like we said before, it's just unfortunate that like coronavirus has proved to the people with money that they're still getting their money from the viewing figures, and that in actual fact, like, they don't care about the fans, do they?
Not at all. And that's how exactly it comes across by them signing this letter of intent or whatever it is that they've signed. The board have basically just shoved the middle finger up to the fans and said, we want the cash.
Yeah.
We don't really care if you're there or not. And
Yeah.
that is the saddest thing.
Like, I'm literally just reading on Twitter now, and obviously mine's full of Newcastle fans, but like everyone is saying the same thing. Like, it's just sad. Like, everyone's just fucking like gutted about it. Like, because another one of our pals, Brighton. Unfortunately, the European Super League is a sad reflection of how a lot of society has gone. Money first, care about the impact of the decision you've made second. A sad day for fans all over now, realising that our value has diminished, an absolute shambles of an idea. And that's it, isn't it? It's like you said, like they've just said, fuck the fans, basically.
Yeah. The one thing that runs through a football club, like, I'll go back to this Real Madrid second leg. We need 2 goals.
Yeah.
And we've been in that position against. I compare it to Barcelona, compare it to Dortmund before. You put the fans in at Anfield, you know for a fact we're going to score. We'd score.
Yeah.
We would have scored, and
Yeah.
I know it. And I know obviously it was 0-0, and it's hard to say that. But you stick the fans in there,
Yeah.
and we're a completely different side. Like, I've not even the difference between obviously this season and last season. Yes, okay, injuries is one thing, but the fans not being there as well to get behind the ball.
So obviously talking about how much of an impact it's going to have not having the fans there, and you know, we all know we've definitely all been at games where, like last season, I'd rather watch games last season where we've looked at them and thought, if the fans are in the ground, then like you're going to get a goal, you're going to win a game or whatever. And obviously you were talking about the Madrid game and the Liverpool game there. Like, where do you go from here as a fan, mate? Like, where do you go? Like, it's obviously you're still going to want to follow your club because you love your club, but
yeah, it takes everything away from what we love as football fans. You know, the special Champions League nights aren't going to be special no more.
Yeah.
Because we're playing them week in, week out. You know, and it's going to have an impact on the normal Premier League games that we're having to compete in, and then probably on a weekend. You know, going away to you or playing you on the weekend, or playing Barcelona on Wednesday night. We're going to pick our best 11 to play Barcelona on a Wednesday.
yeah, that's true, mate.
Do you know what I mean? Because you can't expect the same team to play that consistently. Do you know what I mean? And I mean that by playing Saturday, Wednesday,
Yeah.
for a whole 10 months,
Yeah.
nearly 9 to 10 months.
Look, what do you make of it? Like, because for me, like I said, if they restructure the Champions League, and you said it yourself, like,
Yeah.
all for it. Like, if there's some restructure to make it a bit more competitive or bring more teams into it, cool, whatever. Like, on the face of this European Super League, sounds great. There's fucking loads of like, take everything out. Like, I'm just saying the actual premise of it. You think, yeah, okay, loads of money, loads of superstars being attracted to it, but it's not competitive. Like, what happens if you win it? Like, you're just given the right to be in it all the time. Like Gary Neville said, you don't have to compete to be able to be in it. Like, what's the fucking point? How long do you think it will last?
2 years.
Yeah.
I'll give it 2 years. They'll do a year just to make a point of that they're doing it, and they want to be this big I am. That, from what I've heard now, coming from people like Gary Neville in the background, what actually goes on and the influence that these big six have got within the Premier League, it's a lot deeper than I ever thought it was.
Yeah.
And that's probably me being naive as a football fan, thinking that everything's perfect and ran perfectly. And I know that isn't the case, but that's just me being naive.
No, I don't think it is, mate. Because obviously, we watch so many things these days and you realise how little you always think about. There's things going on in the background, and people like talk to you about being conspiracy theorists and stuff. But it simply is the case that every walk of life that you look at, there is some entity behind there pulling the strings. And it's not the people that are in the media, and this is just simply the case here. Yeah. It's bollocks at the end of the day. What worries me is and I know everyone said dock them points and whatever, and I get that, and I know you agree with that as well. That's fine to try and deter these teams from going in, or which I don't think will make a difference. But I'm of the same mindset as you. I think it will work for they'll have it working for 2 years, and it won't actually be working because the interest won't be that high, and then you'll have these huge clubs that are going to be financially fucking ruined when the money's no longer there.
Exactly that.
That's what worries me, and that's what would worry me as a Liverpool fan. Yeah, we can look great, 3 billion, but what do you do when it doesn't work? Yeah. And you've got wage bills adding up to 2, 3, 4, 500 million pound a year. What are you going to do then when you're already 500 million pound in debt? Man United, for example, that money goes. It's like you said. It's just, and we said before, it's because the way these clubs are run now are no longer sustainable with regards to the amount of money that's coming in from the likes of the Champions League and the Europa League and stuff. But that's what happens when you want to try and buy success, and you don't necessarily get the success, I suppose. But it's just mad.
The other concern for me as well is that if we think players' wages is bad now, you only got to think that, what's his name, Raiola or whatever his name is, that looks after Pogba and that.
Yeah.
That
these super agents.
Now that he knows that these clubs are now getting £3 billion to pay for whatever, but a lot of it's going to be on players.
Yeah.
You like Pogba's wages. I know he's demanded 500 grand, but that's now going to be achievable in Rayola's eyes, and he's going to want nothing less. Do you know what I mean? Everybody else is going to be doing the same thing. From a football agent's perspective. They're going to think, all right, Liverpool, you've got 3 billion now. You can afford to pay me. Especially, I'm not slating Mo Salah at all, because he never comes across as if he is a greedy person or whatever. But he is a top talent, and he's going to be wanting to be paid like top talent. And to see someone like Pogba on £500,000 a week, he's going to want £500,000 a week.
Of course.
Do you know what I mean? And then this is when it all starts to spiral out of control. And like we said about the NFL and everything like that, with the salary cap and everything like that. That's why that sort of system works in some respects.
Yeah. So what I was going to ask you, mate, because it's very audacious of me to be talking about this when the Glazers, who own Man United, own the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are well run. To be fair, all franchises are pretty well run because there were strict rules in place. Why have the Glazers, for example, got it so wrong with football? Do you think
they're allowed to?
Yeah,
I think
that's it. Nail on the head. They're allowed to,
and I think that is what's become apparent more than ever. And I'm shocked even at my own football club at Liverpool in terms of the amount of say that they've got within the Premier League.
Yeah.
And it does call, like Neville said, it calls for somebody to come in as a regulator, independent regulator, to stop it all from going on, because it's not right. Why should Liverpool and Man United be entitled just because they've won a bit to run the show? Almost. Do you know what I mean? And it's also embarrassing on the Premier League's perspective, because it's almost downgrading everybody else's point of view that's worked their bollocks off to get in the Premier League.
100%. The Premier League needs to take a big what's it from this, because a big play in this, because it just proves how many incompetent people there are at the Premier League. The NFL, we keep going back to the NFL, but it's true. The Patriots, for example, or the Cowboys, who are always looked at as the sweethearts of the NFL, they don't get away with anything because they were the most successful. Well, not the Cowboys, but the Patriots. They don't get away with anything more than anyone else does because they're the most successful team. People will disagree with that and say there's this, and that, but realistically, they don't do that. They don't go to the NFL and say, look, this has got to happen, or this has got to happen, otherwise we're going to walk. That just doesn't happen, and you've just hit the nail on the head. Like, it's because they can get away with it. It's as simple as that. They can get away with it. There's no strict rules in place to be able to stop these teams from doing what they want. There's no salary cap. They talk about financial fair play. It's bollocks. It's fucking bollocks. Absolute bollocks. Who's been hit with the transfer embargo? Was it Man City for a little bit?
Didn't even feel like a little
Yeah,
bit. Yeah.
probably did that just to save face. No one gets hit with any of this bullshit. It's fucking bollocks. Other than the other clubs, the clubs in the Championship, for example. It's not just the Premier League. The clubs in the Championship, the League One, they're the ones, like Gary Neville said, they're the ones that are going to suffer. They're the ones that are going to suffer. But yeah, that's our rant, and well, I suppose it wasn't really a rant. That's our take on what's gone on. Best case scenario now, mate, as a Liverpool fan.
The Premier League shows some bollocks and either slap them with a load of fines and deduct points and treat them for what they are now. And if they want, and obviously if they did want to go, make sure they're hit hard.
Yeah.
But the best case scenario would be the Premier League tell them that anybody, and UEFA as well, that they come out and say anybody that's playing in this league can't represent their country.
Yeah, I agree.
But they have to do that. The worst thing about it is that we're having to rely on the Premier League to show some bollocks and do it in the first place.
100%.
Because I can't see it. But they're the last resort that we've got to say, to protect our game, basically.
That is it, like nail on the head, to protect our game, like stop them from playing for their international clubs, because it means that yes, there'll be players that will just be going up there for money. They'll get found out pretty quickly, which is fine. You know, you'll have some top talent that's going there, but ultimately, you know, if people still want to play for their clubs, and you'd like to think the younger lads do, maybe the league will become even more competitive without them, which is a shame. Which is a shame, but it is what it is. So yeah, that's myself and Sean. What a fucking shambles. But yeah, we'll be back with loads of different content. Thanks for watching. Take care. Peace.